Hey everyone! Welcome to Make Love Great Again. You're on with DeAnna Lorraine on the New Right Network. I'll be back in just a moment. We're in the middle of a romance apocalypse. There are more single adults than ever before. Marriage is on the decline. The birth rate is at the lowest point in history. People are not connecting and forming real relationships. For the first time in human history, the very concepts of marriage and romance, God, the family, gender, and even our national anthem are under attack. Our American values have been slowly deteriorating and replaced with liberal, progressive values. We are in the middle of not only the romance apocalypse, but a war on our very souls. Speaking the truth is called hate speech. Patriotism is now called racism. Believing in God makes you a bigot. The current state of America is directly intertwined with the current state of our relationships. We are actively enslaving ourselves into a loveless, joyless, genderless future. Men and women of common sense and a moral compass need to wake up to the destructive madness that is being thrust upon us in the name of progressiveness and political correctness, and look ahead to where this ideology and agenda are ultimately taking us. We can make love great again. We can make America great again. But we need to remember who we are. We need to remember the spirit and the values that once made this country and our relationships so great.
This is a struggle for the survival of our nation. And this will be our last chance to save it. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy. And we will make America great again.
Hey everyone, what's going on? It is DeAnna Lorraine and I am here with you. It is Friday, June 21st, I believe it is, yeah? And I am here, I'm actually at a friend of mine's house. It is a couple, and they are a relationship coaching couple. Their names are Antia and Broderick Boyd, and they do relationship retreats for couples in their beautiful home. And they are also conservatives as well. So we just had a little conservative powwow networking party last night, and here I am. So that's why the different view today, the different background. So let me just check and make sure all the comms are working well. We've got new digs. I wish it were my home, but unfortunately it's not. But that's okay. I love my home too. Okay, so we've got June 22nd. Yes. Russ is in the house, Spanker's in the house, Samuel's in the house, Shooter Down Under, Russ, Samuel, Spanker, and we've got, I know, a lot of more people. So let me just check in with Periscope real quick and make sure it's all working today. I am happy it's Friday. I don't know about you, but I'm glad it's Friday. And it's an interesting news day, isn't it? Why don't we go all around and say, what are we thankful for on this beautiful Friday in June? A lot of more people. So let me just check in. I don't know about you, but I am thankful that I have a brain and I'm not brainwashed. I'm so thankful today that I am not a liberal. Because when I read stories and I see these people that are just trapped in their mindset of hatred and destruction and division, and all they can think about is how to hate and take down our president of the United States with no backup plan, mind you. None of them ever have a valid backup plan. Like, what would you actually do if our president was impeached or assassinated? Do you have a backup plan? What, would they would just magically install Hillary Clinton? Because it doesn't really work that way. But anyways, when I see them in their little rat race mind, and all they are is focused on how to take the president down, all they do is spew logical fallacy after logical fallacy and talk endlessly about things that really don't make sense. They can't put two and two together or think ahead or have any kind of reason. I'm very grateful that I'm not a liberal, for that matter. That makes me grateful today. So what are you guys all grateful for today? Thankful we're taking this country back. Yes. DJ is thankful that even some of the far feminists are waking up, and some of the liberals are also waking up. These are people that I've met personally. So that makes me feel thankful, actually, because I like to, my favorite thing is when I see people that, or hear about stories about people that are in the middle who are rational people, or even on the left. Then they swing over to the right because they're just so sick of this liberal lunacy. And I'm hoping that more and more people see the light. Speaking of light, it's a little bit dark in here, so let me see if I can put on a little bit more light. It's a lot of natural light in here. This is why I don't like doing my webcasts in other places, because I feel like I don't have my full mojo. It's a little bit better, right? Yeah. So, the news today. So let's talk about, let me just make sure everything is working right. I'm thankful that I'm not on the losing side. Their attempts to take the president down have been absolutely comical and quite embarrassing. I agree, but you know what's interesting is Shooter and Spanker are both not Americans. Shooter is from Australia, and so is Spanker, right? So what is it like being in another country? This isn't even your president, but you see this happening in the news every day. What do you think about it, and how do you feel, I guess, how does it affect you, and what's the sentiment over in your part of the world? Does the majority of people listen to the fake news and they also hate President Trump, or are they a lot more people that just think it's Americans are getting out of hand? Yeah, it is a little dark in here. So I'm curious what the sentiment is for other people in other countries. Oh, Robert. Okay. So you're not from America either, but you like my content. So even when you're not from America, do you guys understand when you're not from America, do you still understand the American values, the American way of life, the American dream? And does it make you sad? Because in my mind, I feel like people, no matter what country you're from, I believe that God, in a sense, created America. I believe that God was behind creating America, and I feel like he created it as sort of a beacon of light and hope in this world and of freedom, because it's the only country in the world that has the Constitution, and there's certain very special things about America. It is the most free nation in the world, and you can really do whatever you want in America. But it was created as sort of a beacon of freedom and hope and light in the world. So my belief is that other people from other countries know this, and they know that America they see it as this beacon of hope, and if America falls, then the whole world falls, right? If America cannot be strong enough to keep its country together, then there's no really hope for the rest of the world. Then the whole world kind of falls along with it. So what do you think? Is that true? Trying to navigate this. It's the Judeo-Christian values, to be honest. Yes. The Western values were based on the sacrifice of Christ and Christians. Yes, it was. So like God created it. It's all based on Christian values. And yes. Yes. So you do believe that if America were to fall, then it kind of removes the hope for the rest of the world, right? I pipe out my opinion on Donald Trump subjects and I'm banded misinformed. Ugh, that makes me so mad, Chrissy. God, I hate when that happens. And it's so annoying when we were talking about this last night in this conservative mastermind that, no matter where you go, I have many friends that are liberals that are not dumb people, I would think. They're not dumb people. They are lawyers. They are CEOs of companies. A lot of them... Hold on. Okay, someone's trying to text me right now. I really would appreciate it if you don't text me during the web stream. There's someone that's viewing the web stream right now, and I can't concentrate when you're texting me. So please don't text me during the web stream. Hey, Chrissy. The mainstream media is disgusting in Australia. So is it just as bad as America? And do people actually fall for it? Okay, I'm going to try to fix the lighting in just a second, okay? Hold on. Stay right back. Let's see if this is a little better. Okay. So, yeah. All right, checking in the chat room right now. Yeah, they do have a beautiful home, actually. They have a beautiful home, but this is why I don't like streaming in other people's homes, because I can't get... Everything's not perfect, right? Other countries are more liberal, so they see America as a strong holdout. Yeah, well... So, let's get into the news today, shall we? Because there's some interesting things going on. So, oops. And yes, it's really, I feel that Americans really need to hold on to their values and fight, because the thing is, once America falls, it's never coming back. It's never coming back. Once America, if America does fall, we're not returning from it. There is no return from it. So when Donald Trump says that this is our last chance, this is our last chance. That's why I put this in my video, in my opener. It's really true. This is our last chance. There are no second chances. If the West gets taken over by the globalist, by the deep state, then we're done. The whole world is done. And I don't know why people can't see that. The damage is done. And if you let a flood of immigrants in, just like Angela Merkel has done with Germany, there's no turning back. There's not something, you can't just shut off the faucet and return all that damage. Because look at, the immigrants are infiltrating the Germany. There's a difference between immigration, which is people coming to that country and then assimilating with their values and learning that language and blending together. That's called multiculturalism. When you're assimilating together and you're sharing values and you're sharing things from another person's culture. But what's happening to Germany and what's happening with us is called an invasion. That means people are flooding through. They don't want to assimilate. They don't want to learn their values, and they don't care to share anything. They care to attack and harm. There's a huge difference between immigration and invasion. And the invasion is what Angela Merkel and all these other countries are doing, like Australia. That's an invasion. Why don't liberals know the difference? And this is what Hillary Clinton and the globalists are wanting to do the U.S. with open borders. It's an invasion. And also, if people are so concerned, see, the hypocrisy is clear. With liberals, they're so concerned about multiculturalism, and multiculturalism is enriching to our culture, they say. We need different cultures because immigration helps the culture. But if you're so concerned about that, then why do you care so much also in the same breath about cultural appropriation? Cultural appropriation is the exact opposite of cultural enrichment or multiculturalism, which means that we cannot share another person's culture. Black people are now getting mad at white people for wearing cornrows in their hair or wearing their hair in braids that closely resemble what a black person would wear. Asian people are now getting mad at white women for wearing Asian-inspired dresses or attire. You know, we're getting upset at these things, or liberals are, sorry, not we rational people, but liberals are getting upset at these things because that's a black thing. You're not allowed to wear cornrows. You're not allowed to wear your hair a certain way. That's a black thing. Only black people are allowed to do that. Only Asians are allowed to do that. Only Mexicans are allowed to do this. Well, then what the hell is the point of multiculturalism or immigration then if we're not actually sharing things with each other and enriching our culture with our differences that you're bringing, right? So that kind of stamps out their argument. Yeah, right. White and black people have wore their hair like that. Who cares who wears their hair? This isn't a black thing or a white thing, a Mexican thing, an Asian thing. And if we're really trying to get over separation and racism, you know, like they fought so hard to do, they had separate water fountains, they had separate schools before, and then they fought so hard to remove that separation and blend in with everybody else and be in the same space as everyone else. So now why are they fighting so hard to reverse what they fought for? And now they want separation. Now they get upset when we're not separated. Which is it? The hypocrisy and lunacy is what drives rational people mad. That just kills their argument for inclusiveness because they just want to be able to invade other people's spaces. Exactly. They repeat what they've been told. All of them are sheep. All of them hear what they're told in the media and then they go for it. Most black folks don't care about whites and braids. Most of this is social justice warrior nonsense. Yeah, it is. But unfortunately, you only hear about this through CNN, etc. So, whoops. Let's not show you that. Let's start with some pressing news, shall we? Multiculturalism is the biggest hoax, yes. Well, let's talk about some major fake news today. So, Time magazine put out this disgusting revolting cover yesterday. This is the saddest thing. This is the most disgusting thing. I'm sure you guys have seen this cover. Welcome to America. So we have a red cover that signifies, that projects anger. You know, typically when red is in that shade, that is a hypnotic color that induces feelings of anger. So look at all the different subliminal messages, and they're trying so hard to incite anger and outrage. And then we have Trump looking like a cold-hearted asshole with this girl, right? Which, by the way, this never happened, of course. This picture never happened. This situation never happened. And she's looking at him crying. She's all by herself. Welcome to America. This is sick. This is liberals gone completely haywire. And the sad thing is, when you look at people's, I was looking at people's reactions thinking, surely liberals would think that this has gone too far, right? That this is too much. But no, it doesn't. No, time covers are not always red. No, it's not. So anyways, so welcome to America. So if you just look at some of the Facebook comments on this, it's really disgusting. I was reading through some of them last night, and I couldn't believe that people actually were saying, yes, Trump is such an asshole. This perfectly describes him. Sicko, blah, blah, blah. People are seeing the child. Obama didn't look at the children. Well, some people, luckily, if you go, it depends on the news cycle. But some people, luckily, said, no, this is wrong. This is propaganda. But most people actually says, no, this is disgusting. Oh my gosh, this is horrible, ripping children from their families. But yeah, this is America. And we have laws. We actually have laws. That's the thing. And they're not honoring our laws. But the minute that we honor laws, now all of a sudden we're criminals. Now all of a sudden we're heartless beasts. Welcome to America. Why don't come to America then? If you're so worried about the consequences, how about you don't come to America? Okay? How about you come to America another time when you're ready, or when you can pay the fees to come here legally? You know, one of the wife of the husband that I stayed with last night, she's a legal immigrant. She's a legal immigrant from Germany. And she went through the process to be a legal immigrant. We had now a legal citizenship here. And she said that the citizenship process here is difficult. It's hard. It can be expensive. But you just do it. You do it the right way, and you buckle up, and you do it because it gives you pride to know you came here and you did it the right way. Now she's a U.S. citizen, or she's about to become a U.S. citizen, and she's never been more excited and proud in her life. And that's what you do. So this is the risk you take when you come here illegally. But what's crazy about this is, look, the crazy thing about this is this was actually fake news. This was fake news. She didn't even come here. This was something that wasn't even a thing. So I don't know if you guys heard this. I'm sure you guys have heard this by now. But the fact is that these people, that this whole thing, she didn't even get separated from the parents. There are examples of children separated from parents who immigrated illegally playing out nationwide. Unfortunately, they made the most iconic image something that wasn't a family being separated. And it ultimately undermines their cause. Yes, it does. So, let me just show you the exact article, because it's kind of funny to read and it's kind of crazy that this was the most iconic. This has been retweeted so many times. And this is a picture that they're using to incite outrage. But it's fake news. It's fake news. I don't know why my news article isn't showing up right now. I apologize. I just had... Ah, there we go. So this is just sick. This just shows the levels that the fake news will go to. It's such propaganda. They literally are using these children, and it's really sad because this is a child that does have parents, right? But these people are sick. They're using children to create outrage, and the child was never even taken from the mother. And here's what's also very weird. I don't know if you guys have read this, but there's something really that doesn't make sense. It's not adding up about this. Let's just go through this real quick, and then we'll move on from the story. While the moment captured a toddler in tears, she was not kept apart from her mother. And by the way, the pictures of the kids that are in cages, as you probably know, those weren't real either. Those were staged pictures that were weeks ago at an anti-Trump protest. And the kids were in cages with holding signs, but they were never captured. This was not real. These were all fake news. Valeria said that the little girl and her mother have been detained together in the Texas border for asylum, by the way. Okay, the photo of the child was also used in a Facebook that raised more than $17 million in donations for RACES, Refugee and Immigrant Center for Education and Legal Services, from close to 500,000 people. That is sick. This is why you should never trust these people. They are so sick, so deranged, that they have no issues taking millions of dollars from citizens just because for fake news, right? All over fake news. And you wonder why President calls the media fake news. They're so disingenuous with their false narratives. Like, who would donate to anything after this? They're really undermining their cause, right? Not so fake news. It's a joke what mainstream media does. Yeah, it is. This is rich. I'm trying to find this one article that is really, I don't know where it went. It's a really scary thing. There's something that really doesn't add up about this this person's story, where it almost seems like the child was being smuggled. I wonder if Mexicans were conservative politically, would they want him in here? I don't know. What happened to victims of immigrant criminal engagement? Voice. Okay, here's the thing. So we're going to talk about Melania's cover in just a minute. Here's the article I was going to show you. This is very weird. So this is the guy saying, my daughter has become a symbol of the separation of children at the U.S. border. She may have even touched President Trump's heart, the little girl, Dennis Valera, also told Reuters in a phone interview. So Sanchez and her daughter left Puerto Cortez, a major Honduran port, without telling him or the couple's 3 other children. This is so weird. He said that he assumed that his wife left for the U.S. for better economic opportunity and said she has family in the U.S. How odd. They just left in the middle of the night without telling her husband. Something just smells fishy about that. If they are deported, that is okay as long as they do not leave the child without her mother. Ugh, gosh, I think that they took the article away. It's very weird. I can't find this article. Sorry, guys. This is such a good article, and I can't seem to find it. I don't know how it got lost in my many tabs. But anyways, we'll move on to the next article. What do you think about Melania Trump's jacket? Melania dons a jacket saying, I really don't care, do you? What do you think about this? I think this is a little odd. I can't really seem to make sense of it. I think that it was an FU to the fake news media because they're constantly
Let's talk about the Zara jacket. And guys, if we have a photo, let's throw it up. But so this is what we're just learning about this jacket. Here we go. You can only see the side of it. So this is Melania Trump boarding Air Force down to Texas. And the back of the jacket apparently reads, I don't really care, do you? And just to channel Kate Bennett, who covers her every move, she always says nothing the First Lady does is an accident.
Especially when you have a giant sign on the back of your coat that you know people are going to be seeing when you board an airplane covered by cameras. This is pretty remarkable.
It is.
It is. And the White House, actually the First Lady spokeswoman, has already released a statement saying, give me a break. You know, I'd hope that this is not going to overshadow what she did in Texas. It's just a jacket. No.
You're not buying it.
Yeah, I'm a little confused about the jacket too, because on the one hand, I think that it was kind of just an FU to the fake news, because no matter what she does, they're always picking apart her shoes or her jacket or her hair, whatever. They're always doing that. So I do think, she might be just trolling everybody. But at the same time, it's a little bit weird that she would put it like out of all days. I almost think that if she had this jacket on for any other news op or photo op or at any other time, it would be a more effective troll. But the fact that she did it in, a moment where she's supposed to display compassion and care for these young children and the immigrants, I think that was just a little bit of a troll gone wrong. And she could have, it probably did send the wrong message and it wasn't as effective. But I don't know. I definitely think it was intentional, though. There's no way that she can have that jacket and throw it on without having some sort of an intention behind it. Sorry, guys. I'm getting messages from you saying that I need to fix the internet. This is not my home. I'm getting full internet connection here, and it says it's excellent connection. So this is not my home, and I apologize. This is why I decided to hold off on how to red pill your girlfriend / wife / woman. I'm holding that off until Monday because I need to make sure that we get full internet capacity in order to have that, because it's an exciting, awesome segment, and we really need to have full internet capacity there, okay? So this is the best I can do. I'm sorry, guys. I'm doing the best I can do, but we will definitely have a better webcast on Monday when I'm back in my own studio. I always like doing it in my own studio. I don't like doing it in other people's homes or in hotels or whatever, because you just never have the same lighting, the same situation, the same internet. So I apologize, guys. Please forgive me, but there's nothing I can do about the internet. Troll gone wild. That's her way of saying I don't care what any of you think because they're always making up something that has nothing to do with what's going on. Yes. I think so too. I think it's just like no matter what she does, they're going to pick her apart anyways. So actually, I do think it was kind of effective because, if she didn't wear that jacket, they would have found something to troll her about or pick apart about her anyways. So I do think it's kind of funny now that I think about it. Just casual trolling on a macro global scale. It's hard to say what her jacket actually says as much. I can't really give an honest opinion one way or the other.
Russ, we have a real problem. We have to decide if it's more important to take on the nukes or making all about that jacket, because that jacket could be dangerous. Well, I think it's just funny because there's so many other things going on right now. I mean, for God's sakes, we just had peace with North Korea, and we got them to essentially agree to denuclearize. So we have so many, like, this is a historic event. Trump has been on fire the last few months, just been on fire with win after win after win. And now, just a week after this happens, they find something, this whole, immigration crisis. Trump is a horrible, heartless asshole. This is all just to distract people from Trump's real heart and from his real accomplishments. They will do anything. They're so desperate to do anything to, no matter if Trump just wants to do something great and he does, the next day they'll put something in the news that takes the attention away and gets people back to hating him once again. And that's really sad, because back now he's the racist in chief, he's the misogynist, he's heartless. And it's really crazy because the pictures that they're using to incite this outrage and turn everyone on Trump and on immigration, they're fake. They're not even real. How do liberals not take this into consideration? Don't they? It never causes them to rethink their stance. It never causes them to maybe take back these words. And, we know that Marxists use this as a tactic, that if you say something a negative enough, it will turn into a positive. And the damage is already done, just like the dirty dossier that was proven to be false. Once they put a fake news story out there, like these fake pictures, and they get it into people's head that it's real, or the dirty dossier, the prostitutes and everything. Once they get it to people's heads and it sinks in, they can later redact it. They could later say, this was fake news, or we made a mistake, this was false. But the damage has already been done with these liberals. They never take it back. They never take back their stance. And they know this. It's very strategic. It's very effective. Marxism, no moss. Yeah. Okay, what's next on the docket? Oh, here's another thing that's very interesting. So I think you guys know of this model, Ashley Graham. She's a plus-size model. Plus-size model. But this plus-size model is beautiful. Let's give it to her. She is a beautiful woman, and she happens to hold her weight, I think, pretty well. But the fact is, she is actually considered overweight. So models like Ashley Graham are normalizing obesity in women. They really are. Growing numbers are failing to realize that they are overweight because of the explosion in plus-size models and clothing. So there's a study recently that's found more than half of men do not recognize they're overweight. And almost a third of women underestimate their true weight, the research found. Experts say that those who misjudge their size are 85% less likely to try to lose weight. That's pretty profound. And plus-size models may be behind people's denial about their weight. And this is interesting. She is a pretty girl. I'll give it to her. But most of these women, at least about half of overweight people, were not making efforts to slim down. So when we always hear people saying that they want to diet or they want to lose weight, at least half of those people are not even attempting to lose weight. They're not. And now we're seeing this trend increase even more because of models that are plus size like her, constantly saying I'm beautiful and fat is beautiful, overweight is fine, plus size is fine. But have you noticed that lately there's been a surge of women and young girls, young millennial girls in the next generation that are overweight, and they're thinking that it's beautiful, and they're flaunting their overweight, they're flaunting their fatness and saying, I'm beautiful at every size. Have you noticed that more and more girls are younger, overweight? It used to be that guys would go for younger girls in their 20s, or they would think that young girls in their teens or, young 20s, they would choose them and be more attracted to younger girls over women in their 30s plus, because they would usually have that young body. They were skinny, they had that young, rockin', toned body, and that was attractive to them, signs of youth and fertility. Now, it's almost like the younger generation something that you would take for granted that they would have hot, young, toned bodies are the ones that are overweight. I can't tell you how many young girls that I've seen in high school or college that are like overweight or pretty chubby. And I'm surprised I have a better body than those girls. And I'm like, what the hell? It should be a given. Like, why are these young girls overweight? And they are. And not only that, but they think it's sexy. They think they're like, oh, I'm all good with it. They don't care about being skinny anymore. And girls used to always care about being thin. And in a way that's kind of nice that they're not obsessed with being thin, but now they don't care at all about being overweight, and that's just unhealthy. She's not fat, just bigger like a roadmaster. There's a big difference between curvy, voluptuous, and proportion than looking like Humpty Dumpty. Well, that's the thing. Ashley Graham, she does carry her weight well because she's a beautiful face and she has a thin face. And I do think that, you know, she doesn't, somehow she is miraculously blessed with these curves that don't necessarily make her look fat. But let's be real, most girls who are overweight, they don't carry that weight very well. I don't agree about plus size models as it's going to normalize obesity and being overweight, which is dangerous. Okay, so let's see what she has to say about this. Don't tell me this video is gone as well. Every time I change pages, somehow the video that are the most important things are gone. Yeah, where did that video go? It's the weirdest thing. Must be ad blockers or something. So who's the other one? DeAnna Nicole on Instagram. Yeah, well, of course, all the things that I want to show you are not popping up now, which sucks. Because there was a video of her just saying, girls, it doesn't matter if you're fat, if you're skinny, if you have bad skin, what your skin looks like. That shouldn't prevent you from being a model. And I'm sorry, but I think it does prevent you from being a model. DeAnna Nicole. Or is it DeAnna Nicole? But you have noticed that younger girls are more overweight, right? That's one hell of a tab game. Well, I have a lot of articles to go through. Everyone should be at a healthy weight range, yes. Exactly. So, in other news, here's some other interesting things I thought for today. Oops. Oh, here comes, liberal shill, who is, we're talking about Pope Francis. This is what's crazy. This is how we know that there's some infiltration in the church going on of people that are not true Christians. U.S. bishops are pushing for voter guide to emphasize Pope Francis's new direction. So the U.S. bishops are opening the door to revision for their quadrennial voting guide last week and voted overwhelmingly to integrate the teaching of Pope Francis into its implementation. And we know Pope Francis is not a real pope. So it talked about, of course, President Donald Trump and, anti-Trump sentiment, toxicity of the moment, etc. A number of bishops called for the end of faithful citizenship at the bishops' meeting. And the bishops have produced a voting guide every 4 years since 1976. Blah, blah, blah. Critics have said it leaves open loopholes for Catholics to vote for pro-abortion candidates. A group of Francis appointees and others prompted an open clash for the fall 2015 meeting for their calls to rewrite the document to better reflect Francis's priorities. That's crazy. Among the bishops calling for a Francis-centric voter guide and rendering of the primacy of issues were San Diego Bishop Robert McElroy, Bishop Gerald Kansas, head of the Diocese of Tucson, and blah, blah, blah. So this is kind of scary because we're talking about a possible overhaul to the Catholic Church. And we already know that they've been doing some pretty crazy things like this. The Pope is a joke. Yes, he is. Pope Francis is a true socialist. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing for sure. I don't like going to gyms, but I walk a lot. Pro-abortion candidates, not like the abortion rate is high enough as it is. It's not like there have been more deaths than multiple wars combined or anything. Yeah, exactly. Well, this is what's scary. This is the kind of things that the new Pope is for. I'm sure you guys have seen this. On Ash Wednesday, glitter ashes show support for the LGBT community. And again, we all know here that we have tolerance and acceptance for gays, right? But this is totally different when we're openly promoting homosexuality in the Catholic Church. This is where we're starting to get really scary here. And the Pope is promoting it. So at numerous churches throughout the country on Ash Wednesday this year and last year, they were offering glitter, purple glitter ashes to show support for the LGBT community and show that they are welcome. And, you know, obviously they're welcome, of course, but to actually have a different set of ashes mixed with purple glitter, okay, so that they can show support for LGBTQ community and bring them in for Ash Wednesday, that is just a direct mockery of God. You know, he did not intend for purple glitter that's like got gay pride all over it, you know, glitter like, yay, fabulous, to be spread on our faces. This was not God's intent, okay? So to me, this is just another kind of sneaky, sinister thing that's just going unnoticed by a lot of people, but that's showing that the Catholic Church is moving more and more liberal and throwing God's words really out the window, because he openly makes specific comments about LGBT, about gays, homosexuality, and this here is just a direct mockery of that. So I'm sure you guys have heard about that. This is not necessarily a new thing. Marked with a cross of ashes mixed with purple glitter to support LGBTQ. Yeah, this Pope is most definitely a shill. If you have any more concerns or questions about him being a shill, oh, he most definitely is. You guys didn't hear about glitter ashes? Wow, I'm surprised some people here didn't hear about that. The Pope is playing stupid games. Yeah, glitter, these people need an exorcism. Absolutely. All the pedophiles... Satan. Seems like the church is just bringing in more sex. Exactly. More sex. Speaking of, they have enough sex going on. This is full-blown Satanism. Yes, it's mocking God, right? Hi, Ramesh. I love your conversations in here. So funny. Yeah, I know. Well, this is why I'm not even really... I grew up Catholic, and I grew up in the Catholic Church, but I'm starting to lean more away from Catholicism and going to Christian churches now. So now I'm going to Christian church every week, and I'm liking it. I'm actually liking it a lot better than Catholic Church, because I feel like the message is much more relatable, and I don't think there's all this kind of pedophilia, Satanism behind the scenes going on in the Christian churches. I think it's really starting to become apparent that it's been more Catholic Church. Sorry to say that. I'm non-denominational, but I'm just spiritual, but a very strong believer. Yeah, good. You've been to exorcisms? Oh my gosh. So, but here's what they do. Remember, we talk about how liberals will always force something in, even if it's not by will, it'll be by force. Even when people vote against something, they don't care. They're going to put their agenda in, and they're going to corrupt Western values as much as possible, no matter what. They're going to do it. It's their way or the highway. And this is just another example of that. So, Virginia School Board thrusts through sex ed changes despite a 90% disapproval. 90% of people polled disapproved of these sex ed changes, and yet they still went through with it anyways. It's really disgusting. Let's see what they went through with. As soon as it goes down, a Virginia school board thrust through changes to its sex ed curriculum despite 90% disapproval rate. The Fairfax County School Board passed changes including the replacement of biological sex with sex assigned at birth. So they're putting through this gender is a social construct, LGBTQ literature in new sex ed classes. So starting in fall of 2018, students enrolled in the school will learn about the HIV prevention drug pre-exposure, which can cause serious life-threatening side effects. I don't know why they're talking about HIV prevention. Oh, maybe because they're trying to spread homosexuality. They're calling Donald Trump the American Taliban, which is crazy. And yeah, basically the gist of this article is that they're implementing, changing a portion of the curriculum stating students with questions or concerns about their sexual orientation or gender identity will be advised to talk with a parent, member of the clergy, or trusted adult or counselor by omitting clergy and counselor. Interesting. The vote to ignore parents and community input, which opposes the changes at a greater than 8-1 margin, and to move forward to adopt this false and ideologically driven content circumvents parental involvement, puts children at risk, and undermines the rights of citizens to a transparent, open, and accountable limited government. Wow, that's crazy. 90% disapproved of this. And yet they're still going through with it anyways. Schultz compared the changes to the sex ed curriculum to an unwanted cake. The public comes back and says, not only do we not care about what flavor cake we don't want cake at all. But they're still not able to do that. That's just crazy. They will do it by force. And have you noticed, too, that even you would think that middle America is safe from all this stuff. You would think that in more southern states or red states, you would think that they wouldn't have as much of this liberal ideology being pushed through their schools. But sadly, a lot of these formerly very conservative states and schools are producing these feminists. They're producing feminists and LGBTQ students. That just shows you how far left we've gone. You know? It totally gets me very angry when they abuse children. It is, because it's against their will. We need to pray and ask God to send revival to heal and cleanse our land. Yeah, exactly. Since they have the freedom to choose, essentially. Bye, Russ. Thanks for joining us. Without the ability of critical thinking, you accept all of their bullshit. That's exactly how they want it. Exactly. They want to come in before their ability to